I've learned my lessons. I heard people saying Ghana education is not good and all that, but if you want to compare Ghana education service and the US education service for the quality of kids that we have, students there, I think that I would say Ghana, because of discipline, Ghana is good. If you compare my students here in the US and you compare the students
in America,
Ghana, yeah, the students are not motivated to learn at all. I was teaching that day, and one of them just got up and started twerking in the class. Sit down, stop that, sit down. They won't mind you. Sometimes you look into your bank account, though you are an entrepreneur in addition to the teaching job, but you still have nothing to show for. I grew up from Asafo. I think if you've lived in Kumasi before, there are some areas that when you say you live there, people actually know you that you be guy. So Asafo, Krofrum, Dichemso, Bantama. Tell me, Kafa, me best me can you buy Kafa no. So I'm an Asafo boy. I've lived in Asafo since I think 1993. Before I moved out to live around Ejos area. So that's for the place of my stay in Kumasi. So I also schooled in Kumasi Academy from 2003 to 2006. I think we were the first batch that took the WASI. So I'm that young. And I proceeded into Ken UST to read painting and sculpture. So I'm an artist, and aside being the artist, I also became a fashion designer. I'm a self-taught menswear tailor, and I got into GE as the Ghana Education Service in 2013, and I've been teaching since then. So I got the opportunity to fly over to the States on this exchange program. So I've been teaching
for
almost 10 years.
What exactly were you teaching in the Ghana Education Service, and which school were you?
I was teaching visual arts, and I taught at Antwerp Senior High. Baby, a good piano. It's hard than piano. So no one actually joked with me because exactly when you mentioned I teach at Antwerp Senior High, everybody goes back and say, "Oh," so that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if you were, working in the prestigious Ghana Education Service with all that teaching allowance and everything going well, why will you just all of a sudden quit your job and then go to America?
Okay. So this up to now, I haven't actually decoded the reason why I moved out of Ghana, but I'm still trying to find out the reason why. So I'm very religious, and as a teacher in Ghana, I think teaching in Ghana is quite more relaxed as compared to teaching in the United States. So I was able to juggle between jobs. I had a menswear brand in Ghana, and I also co-founded a shoemaking brand, IFOK. It's a very renowned shoe company in Ghana now. And alongside the teaching, I did about 2 or 3 jobs. So it was quite okay. But sometimes you look into your bank account, though you are an entrepreneur in addition to the teaching job, but you still have nothing to show for. So actually, for me personally, that didn't move me. I looked in my bank account, I didn't have like 20,000 sitting in my account. As
after being a teacher, being a co-founder of a shoe factory, you never had 20,000 Ghana cedis in your account.
The reason is, as an entrepreneur, you always want to reinvest your incomes or your profit into the business. So I was setting up a fashion school, an art school in Ghana. So all my money were just being pumped back into the business. So I didn't have that money. That was one of the motivation. And again, I'm very religious. So a prophet of mine prophesied that I'll be moving out of this country. And personally, Abroching am like, I mean, many Abroching. So when he said that, I said, myself, what? So I have a chat with my wife, and my wife was just telling me, "Oh dear, yeah, sure, just put in the application and let's see." So I'm the type who love to research about things. I won't allow you to do that. I always want to sit down and do the research. So it started with Canada. A friend came with an idea, so Canada school, so we have to apply to some schools and all that, get some scholarship. So I was reading a lot about Canada. So what made sense is here I can just give you an overview of the Canadian government website. ICCI for meet me actually because I was always on it. So I was always researching on that. Research here I'm ubi video YouTube. This Kenyan woman, like I said, you can go to the US and teach on a sponsorship program. I'm so wow. So that's where it started. So I read about it. I updated my wife that this is it just so far teaching BYU US, and I think from the things they are requiring, I think I have everything. But I wasn't so happy with it because I'm reaching MLI and I've invested so much in my business. Maybe I think that maybe free Ghana Grampo, maybe check it now. I'd spent like 80,000 in my company because it was still a startup. My infrastructure, my classroom, my BB, and I'm always running my business as well. Because now dreaming answer, I want to open up a big art school, not fashion school, a big art school. So that was the plan. And I told my wife, I'm still not interested. And should I say, she motivated me or encouraged me? Okay, she motivated me and said, the many applications on that, the many money. So I did it. First one, back way from Faces catch them and said, me money because childcare in the US is quite expensive. So they can't place me anywhere. And the other company, and so it was very forthcoming. For Abraham the call. Now it got to a stage that they requested for a bank statement of $2,000 in their account. Ghana teacher, they go find him.
A bank statement of $2,000 in your account,
which is not money. $2,000.
Okay. That's around 200 million, right?
So time 200 million. Very good. So actually, I told myself I'm not going to do any forgery thing. So said the problem. So I printed my salary bank account. It's kind of 155 cities, and I turned in the bank statement to the agency. So I think one evening I was driving, and I'm sending me mail. We are sorry, we have to put you on hold. Reason behind I'm say, I was really worried because men
Lucida.
Papa, they say I want them working.
So, but then no, you came to realize that no, I don't know. You need a kind of capital to do it.
And it's quite reasonable. I'll explain it in the process. I mean, I'll explain that why you need an amount to, show up for agencies before they proceed with your application. And see, when we go if you camera, when I'm wife from me, I just put see my application being so IAG. So I did IAG, I think in November. It's one of the agencies of let me buy.
Okay.
And IAG process now I was years MCB. So when the exams came, I remember that day I was cutting some will be trousers.
Okay.
And I linked the buy. Maybe questions now I waited a bit so I closed it. I portal on a midjay. A month later, Mohana on that send them and say, I have an interview. And I'm saying, they are some Punia. And I'm them interview no. Interview almost my passing. After now, as a requirement back will be almost send this self-made video of me teaching this man sending uncle. So there have been 2 stages. I also may fulfill it, but I skipped it because men say Aboriginal baby.
Okay.
So man,
you try and add a bit of English because you are doing English. So
okay. So two stages came from the sponsors. One was I think a short exams for, I think it was like aptitude test, yeah, for teachers. So I skipped that one because I decided not to travel anymore because I've invested so much of my money in the company, which I can't forfeit it losing. And the second one was I was supposed to upload a self-made video of me teaching, and I intentionally did not upload that as well because I said I'm no more traveling to the states.
Because you were fed up.
I fed up. So these two steps was a major criteria or a requirement, but I skipped it. So I was there again. Then they sent me that I qualified for the next stage, so I should arrange an interview with a school's principal. And I was really, really surprised. So it's God telling me something. And I had prayed about this thing. I've been praying and praying. God, let me feel the answer. Let me see the answer in my dream or something. So up to now, I haven't heard anything from God, but I'm here now. And the process went through smoothly. So if you ask me, why would I leave my job? Why would I leave GES? GES, one, I wouldn't want to condemn GES right now because I've learned my lessons. I heard people saying Ghana education is not good and all that, but as you are talking now, I will defend Ghana Education Service right now. Even though there are some downfalls that they have, but I'll always vouch for Ghana Education Service.
Why will you vouch for Ghana Education Service? Why? Because you didn't have 20,000 in your bank account, or why?
Okay. Mm-hmm. So in terms of monetary aspects, I think they have the downside on that. The salary is too meager, it's too small. That is one. But I'm talking in terms of the quality of education, the quality of products that we have in Ghana. If you compare my students here in the US and you compare the students
in Ghana,
yeah, the students are not motivated to learn at all. The classroom discipline, you can tell yourself that, oh, I'm a good teacher and all that. I can tell you that when you get to the American classroom, the content wouldn't be even halfway of the class. Classroom management will be 60%, and the content will be just 40% because the students are not motivated to learn. Everything is free. Some of them do not know how to write. They always want to stay on a laptop and be typing. So I'm talking in terms of, if you want to compare Ghana Education Service and the US Education Service, for the quality of kids that we have, comparatively, I think I'll vouch for Ghana Education Service. But for incentives and monetary aspect, US,
it will go to America.
Yeah.
So that you want to say that in Ghana there is discipline. And by the way, I was also a teacher in Ghana. I was also a teacher in Takrady Senior High School. So you say that the discipline that Ghana Education has been able to instill in students in Ghana is far better than America, right?
Far better, far better. Yeah. Because I remember my first day in the US classroom. I almost packed my stuff to move out of the country and go back to Ghana.
Why?
I'm teaching, I think, middle school. Yeah, I'm teaching middle school here in the US, and what the kids did to me.
English.
I was teaching that day, and one of them just got up and started twerking in the class. Sit down, stop that, sit down. They won't mind you. Anything that, and if you're not careful, any utterance that you make, certain utterances do not seem to be insulting, but it means insult here.
So, utterances like
damn. I didn't know that damn was very, very insulting. Damn. I never knew that. Shut up. I never knew that. If you mistakenly tell a child that, hey, shut up, you are dead.
Because I think I still use it here. Hey, will you shut up? It's insulting.
So I did it once, and my principal told me not to use that.
Really? Damn.
Yeah. Damn,
nigga, what are you doing?
So this is what happened. In my 8th graders class, one of the kids just lifted their legs and put it on the table. And I said, my friend, put your damn leg down. And said, ooh, you're going to get fired. And the whole class was just laughing at me.
The student told you that?
Simple cry. They told me I'm going to be fired for that and all that. So I did another mistake after that. The next day, I went in and I apologized that I didn't mean to insult, and I worsened my case. A friend told me I should have never ever revisit that issue because they would never remember it. And I mistakenly went in there and apologized to them that I didn't mean to say that. Them is not insulting my country and all that. Instead, they went haywire and it
The
was something else. So,
student,
a
grade eight,
student, eighth
grade
grade,
eight.
JSS 3, JSS 3, Papa Penalty 7. And they were all over me. The first week, my brother, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. So, GES, actually, I didn't want to leave because I had businesses, but I left because I wanted to change location, and I left
And fulfill
because
a prophecy of your
and
pastor.
fulfill a prophecy. Very good. When I made the best also and fulfill a prophecy, and God hasn't disappointed me. I mean, I've seen a difference though. Yeah.
So now so what subject do you teach in America?
I teach visual art.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what is the difference? I want us to do the difference between teaching in Ghana and teaching in America, and what is so special in America?
Okay, so the uniqueness of the U.S. education system is TLMs, the teaching and learning materials. If you come to my class right now and you look at the kind of equipment and materials that are found in my class as an art teacher, and the number of funding that you get, because the Western world never joke with art. Maybe over Ghana in my visual art studio, it was horrible, very very horrible. And then be my headmistress says, if you want to buy anything, it comes from a
Again,
packet. It comes from your own packet. So that was it. But here, you'll be getting funding $2,000, $5,000. Money will be coming because they are in love with the art. The visual art today, you cash funding, book field trip, and all that. So they are not joking with education here. They are not joking. So the major difference now is TLMs. But for quality of students there, I think that I would say Ghana, because of discipline, Ghana is good.
you keep mentioning, I mean, quality. Like, what is the quality? How do you explain quality?
Okay, so I mean quality in the terms of students' preparedness and motivation that they have in the classroom because of discipline. And in Ghana, I had one visual art for we had bad boys in my class. I had students who were armed robbers, but I could just pull up a cane. If they misbehave, I pull up a cane and discipline them, and they would never ever utter an insulting word to me.
A word. Yeah.
Or your mistake that we after we play, and you teach them, and they take it. So the kids are disciplined even from the house and coming to school. But here, so I can't say much about what I'm seeing here, and it's everywhere. I've called most of my friends. Ubu of Florida, I spoke to him, and he said it's the same over there. Discipline is a problem. I called someone in Wisconsin. Discipline is a problem. Illinois, discipline is a problem. So it's all over America. I don't know what is happening with their generation. I actually don't know what is happening with that generation, and it is the reason why people are leaving the teaching job here in the US. The citizenry do not like the work so much. The stress is too much. The moral behavior of the kids is also too much. So I just say, yeah, you strangers can only do this job because of the monetary incentives in it. That's it. So quality and the making it's hints on the discipline part.
Okay.
The discipline, because if a child will excel, it is premised on discipline
Exactly.
and eccentric motivation. So that's
Okay.
it.
So now you made mention that, I mean, life has been very good in heaven, right? So what is the signature? What shows that now things are good?
Uh, should I say it's even good? Okay, it's quite okay as compared to Ghana. So as I told you, I had businesses I was juggling in between in Ghana. So if you should ask me, you need 10,000 Ghana cedis in a week. It was going to be a problem because I was a businessman and time I'm sick. So you'd have to give me like 2 weeks before I can mobilize some funds for you. But I quite remember one day when I was asleep and my wife called me from Ghana. Within a week, Anopana, where I say. And when I sent just $500 that morning, was able to solve all those problems. I said, wow. So that was the main character crap, but that was the time that I would say that teaching in US was quite beneficial.
What was your worst moment teaching in Ghana?
I don't think I have any because maybe a businessman. Maybe me to I was teaching in SS, so I could teach, let's say 3 to 4 hours a day. Which area you can go to the house and work. So it was good. Me, I don't have a time in Ghana where I would say I had a rough day at school.
So currently, if you are given, a huge amount to come back and teach in the Ghana Education Service, are you going to accept that offer and leave America?
That's a tough question.
You are given now. If teachers in Ghana are being paid 20,000 Ghana cedis plus housing and accommodation, will you come back to Ghana?
Why not?
They want you to be the head of the art department in your school.
For me, I don't want the leadership part, right? Because the duty is so much. Let me be at the lower level so that I can teach, go back to my work, teach and go back to my work. That part is quite okay. In American, if they are going to give me that amount to stay in Ghana and teach, I think I'll go in for that.
Then in that case, what would be your word to your colleagues? Because it looks like everybody wants to leave the service now. What's your word to them?
I also will be able to Stevie. I think there has been some kind of aura in Ghana at the moment that everybody thinks Ghana is really, really at the verge of destroying. That is the but I can tell you that when I was in Ghana, if I should put an ad on Instagram, say a Monday, if I should put an ad that I'm running a promo for one of my shirts, one of my products, if we do Friday, the number of people who are going to pay, someone can pay 1,000 Ghana cedis for shirts. Someone can pay 2,000 Ghana cedis for shirts, about 10 shirts. So people are really making it in Ghana. So it's just that there is some kind of aura in Ghana that everybody thinks the country is failing. To some extent, I think it is true because I had my fair share of that. I will talk about that also as well. So as a being says, so we all want to run away, and is there aborigines? So they are like people are traveling, especially the UK. People are really, really traveling. So I bet idea everybody want to travel. So
every no crap person walk on use abrochi filter. Me wa abrochi
So it's half an hour, but ube testisha. I have a friend here, right here in this house. I will say Yemapoya, he's going back to his country. I have a friend right here who has decided not to teach again because the hassle is too much. The stress is killing him. This place is for the tough. If you are not hard skinned, you cannot teach here.
What is the stress? What stress are you talking about?
So, can you imagine that your principal could be standing right beside you and she has any information for you? She won't alter to you, but rather go to her office and send you an email. So, it is possible you can have about 10 to 15 emails by the close of the day. You're supposed to respond to each of them. You're not supposed to miss any of that.
Whilst teaching, or you have time to.
Some will come whilst you're teaching. Others you'd have to close and revisit it and respond and all that. So that is one. And two, you said that lackadaisical attitude of Ghanaians that when you are in teaching in Ghana, you can't joke with the job here. You are going to work for the money you are being paid for. So if you been staying in Ghana for all that rosy period and you come here, it's going to be hell for you. It's going to be hell because the job is very demanding.
What is the lackadaisical attitude in Ghana which is not tolerated in the USA?
Not preparing lesson plans. We don't call lesson notes. I didn't prepare lesson notes in Ghana.
I didn't too. Do you prepare it in America?
Yes, we call it lesson plan, but it is that simple, very very simple. It's just talking about the modern day lesson plan. If you're going to use 10 minutes for your the explanation of your objective, the learning intentions and all that, it's very big. It's very simple. It's just about how you're going to demarcate the time for each content in your lesson. That's the type. And yet, the which are useless things. No, I never prepared lesson notes in Ghana, but my students were always passing. So I was asking one of my teachers, what is the bearing of the preparation of lesson notes and the success of my kids? Because I taught about 7 years in Antwerp, and progressively, without a lesson notes, my students were passing. So what is the bearing? It has no linkage. But
The lesson plan prepares you to go into the class and know what to do exactly on time and
oh,
then on each particular day. I also had so many issues with my headmaster with regards to lesson plan. But you are telling me, America, to prepare lesson plan. How is that different? Like how?
so
You
for
write to
here,
right?
you will sit down and prepare the lesson plan. Latest by Sunday 11:59, you should forward it into the Teams page for your principal to see that you have uploaded it. It is that I mean, but I'm doing it. Me and Ghana, I wasn't, but you will do it here. You can't joke with it. You will do it.
For the
But you will
whole
do
week,
it.
you prepare the whole week or just
The whole week.
once?
So if I do it on Sunday, it covers me through the whole week. It's that simple. So Monday, this is going to be the learning intentions. This is going to be the success criteria and all that activities. Then it's that simple. Very, very, but because I love this one as compared to the Namian in Ghana. Ghana, there you have now got you go into the syllables, content, blah blah blah, and many things were chaff. But here, if you prepare it, you are even going to take time to even find some nice activities for the kids, because if you lose them, my principal will always say, work the kids before they work you. So
Okay.
always have an activity for them. Always have an activity. So I have this color sheet of superheroes in my class right now. If you are done with this activity, my friend, come for this one. So if you keep them busy, you are
Busy.
safe. They would never worry you. So you should always have activities for them. So preparing the lesson or planning the lesson really helps you here, because it is going to guide you how you're going to manage that small time you're giving you. But in Ghana, certain things were bureaucracy. It was over the top. Bureaucracy.
Looks like me you. Also Ghana now own your lesson plan. How yes? What is the difference between Ghana lesson plan and the lesson plan in America? Like, what is so different?
Okay, the internet Ghana Ghana no, the meal was like copying what's in your syllabus
Yeah.
into the notebook, and it got to a time. I think right now they are told to find some internet resources and print in Ghana, but some CS are saying they don't want the printed version.
Yeah,
Quote in
my
quote.
headmaster even told me if you want to send him an email of the lesson plan, you have to write two for him. He
It's
wanted
likely.
to have it backed up every day by writing.
And that was the problem. If it comes that way, now you don't see the essence of the lesson plan, but it is really, really helpful. Really, while I was strategizing and say, okay, tomorrow this is what I'm going to do. I have to. It was
And
first in history.
Ghana lesson plan and America lesson plan, what is the difference?
The difference is this one is very simplified.
Okay, the American one is simplified.
Yeah, it is. It is simplified, and put me, is say it's going to save you through the whole week. But the problem is, it do Friday is one of so because also prepare for the next week. You always have to have an activity for them. Always have to have an activity. You're going to stay with them from Monday to Friday. So these same phases always have an activity for them. So it has been really, really quite an interesting trip with the kids. They also give you
Okay.
more.
Okay. And you also mentioned that people are saying Ghana is worse. You've also had your fair share. What is your fair share that you've had with Ghana being bad?
I thought you would forget about that. Okay,
I
so
don't forget easily.
about this, when I started my art school, I didn't want to be caught off guard. Say, there's going to be a government contract that you're supposed to produce some apparels for a company or that. Now withdraw or tax clearance, you don't have a tax certificate, you have not been paying tax and all that. So I worked into GRA in Kumasi. If you stayed in Kumasi before, I think owner service area or the main office. So I went there as a good citizen of Ghana to go there and open a tax file for my company. So I do not do business without permit and all that. So but they'll come and lock up your place because you're not paying tax. And there have been instances that there are certain opportunities that the government will bring. If you do not pay tax, you can't benefit from. So I wanted to be proactive on that. I went to the office. I went there to find some young guys who were civil servants who are supposed to help us open a thing for us. And they told me that since the day I registered the company, I should have come to them, and I did not come. And this thing, I never knew about that. So the business certificate had stayed for, I think, a year and 6 months. That was 18 months. And I had not been to the GRA office to open for a certificate because the business was not running. I had wanted to establish the systems and structures before I do all the documentation in regards of the taxing. So I went there, and they told me that, okay, since I had not come to them, I should bring some money. And in front of me, I should bring some money. He'll give this guy this amount, he'll give that amount. So after they opened the file for me, so that, and like I was like, seriously. So that was the time I said, oh, but
Manasseh, you were amazed, flabbergasted.
I flabbergasted. Omana say, like menim kamamim kompu, menim wa you pekakraba, you give this amount to this person and all that, and they will open the file for me. Me coming to you to pay for taxes, to file for when I was I can. So I came home and I never went to them. I was doing my business as usual, and you BNC because they're not coming around to lock up my place and all that. And people were just insulting me and said, mistake run here. I shouldn't have gone to them because now I've given them information, say I'm doing this kind of business in this area, so they can just get up and come to my place and lock it up. But may you walk on in the year and I'm the buy. So
wow,
nothing of that sort happened.
Wow, I see. Now can you clarify this perception and this myth for us? Yes, see America they heaven. Yes, it's a young crowd, be one body and come home America in heaven, and that portrayal on the other. America to say with all honesty.
Chairman, maybe I wanted to wait for a while before engaging in interviews because Okoka said America in heaven. They go foot me do a temo war social media. Me who be an miracle. It is not heaven. It is not heaven. Me come my first day. Me see New York. Me buy US now. My South Carolina. Really, I have some family in New York, so they came to pick me up at JFK. When I hope I've been up a former baby what to now and you. When the baby what to say a crack move so I've not fix you the same. And the enemy felt crew now said matter. In New York rather I say in good baby like rubbish. A whole of letters are spread across the neighborhoods. It was very, very terrible. And is this the America that everybody was talking about? Like this is heaven and all that. But when they took me to Manhattan, the metro city of New York, it might be closer to heaven, but it is not heaven. The place is really beautiful.
Manhattan.
The place is really, really, really beautiful. So yes, it is beautiful, but it is not heaven. They have their own downfalls. And the reason why they are saying is that I think America was formed many years ago, but Ghana is that young. So we can comparatively say that Ghana is hell and US is heaven. They have their own downfalls and so it is not heaven. They have that make kind of be right.
Okay, what advice do you have for any teacher who is currently planning to travel to America?
I would advise everybody to come and have a taste of it, because this program is a free program and you do not pay so much money to a connection man or an agent to come over to the States and teach. So at least for the sake of your resume, come and have a fair taste of international teaching in the US. Just come and have a taste.
So,
And
how
if
many
you,
years do you have to? So you said you didn't pay anything to any. You did everything by
oh,
your own.
bruh, capre. So if the other time I tried making a total calculation of the amount of money I spent in this whole trip, and I think it got to 10,000 Ghana cedis, which is almost $1,000. 10,000. You do your credential evaluation. I'll explain that when you go to that side. Credential evaluation, my visa fee payment, going to Accra back and forth, and some other things. So 10,000 covered everything, and
Oh.
you are coming on a sponsorship.